did it.
We did.
I mean, it's easier with two people.
Yeah, for sure.
Uh, well, welcome to the cup refill, where the reality of the past becomes the tea of today. I'm Logan Murphy. I say something gay. Gay. Today, we are just drinking water
Per.
because hydration is very important. I decided to have a glass of wine at 2 p.m., so I'm drinking water.
Good for you.
Thank you.
And hello, I am Lana, your resident diva, here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I loves me some tea. Per. And if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up. I too am just drinking water because hydration is important and it's very much what I need right now. So, and yes, Logan, it is generic water if you were looking to ask, but it's just regular water.
I didn't prep for
Well, that's perfectly fine because we don't really. Well, there we go. Generic, 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 and generic water. Period.
that.
Um,
Extra generic.
extra generic. But if I was drinking anything else, I would definitely be drinking it out of my cup mug because everything tastes better out of this mug.
It sure does, actually.
It just really does. So you should get one. All the cool kids have one, and you can get one. And yes, we do ship internationally. So there's no excuse. Period.
Yes. So, episode 9 and 10 Survivor Heroes versus Villains. We are working our way through this season. This is the episode I've been waiting for. Not 9,
10
but
for
episode
sure.
10.
Hmm.
I'm very excited.
But we definitely have to start off with 9.
I know. That's the episode that at the start of the season I was like, I can't wait to talk about this episode. And I forgot it was the merge vote. I was like, I know it happened at some point. I just forgot it was the merge vote. So, but we come back in. It is episode 9. We are back after Coach was blindsided. And Jerry's just like, I'm upset.
Am I next? Am I next?
Absolutely not.
No, Jerry.
No.
No.
Again, I
promise you.
forgot Danielle was on this season. Truly, genuinely, and honestly, and this is no shade to Danielle.
Yes,
But
it is.
I truly was like, who is that?
Truly a shade to Danielle because unfortunately she's just not memorable and she's just
Like, I'm gonna be really honest. I can't tell you what her original season was.
I don't even know her. I'm just saying, if it wasn't for her connection with Parvati and Russell, she would get no screen time. She would get
Oh,
she would get no time, and she's yeah. I don't remember
so she was on Panama, which is a season I should remember, but I don't.
her.
Anyway, um, we go to camp the next day, right before our reward challenge, and we get tree mail that the tribes have to rank their members from strongest to weakest
Mm-hmm.
because it is a face-off challenge.
Yes.
And uh, Rupert's like, I'm the strongest.
Like, bro, where? I was like, bro, where? With your broken toe, where are you the strongest?
Literally,
Like,
with your broken toe and all.
where are you the strongest? My God, delusion much? Yes, for sure.
Broken toe.
The broken toe and all, he was the strongest. I'm like,
Oh no.
oh,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Um
And then they knew what the challenge was. And I'm like, and you still want to say you're the strongest? Like, big people are not going to do well in this challenge.
Yeah,
That's
they
just not.
literally JT literally tried to say that.
Uh, some
Anyway.
people, honey, some people, delusion is real for them.
Hmm. So, so we get to the challenge, and it is stand in the block on some footholds for as long as you can. There's a name for the challenge, and it's called Chimney Sweep.
Sure. Standing in the box holding the foothold sound better to me. Cause,
I agree.
but whatever.
Um, yeah, so we're head to head. And what's actually really interesting is all three people that drop actually were going up against someone, I believe, from their original season.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, all three villains who scored in the reward challenge are paired with a contestant from their original season. So it's Jerry that takes out
Colby.
Colby, and
Mm-hmm.
then Sandra
Sandra
wins.
takes out Rupert.
Sandra technically
Sandra
won the season,
wins. She won. Period. Good job, Sandra. Good for you.
and then
Courtney.
Amanda falls.
Courtney took out Amanda. Mm-hmm.
Courtney took
Mm-hmm.
out Amanda. So they get to go. Villains win.
They, they
Villains
get to
win.
go. They get to go Outback. They get to
I
go.
love that they used to do the Outback rewards, and I'm very sad that we still don't do them.
Yeah, they get to go get some Outback food and they had bartenders and everything. I was like, that's cute.
How do we feel about Outback, Lana?
Me personally, am not the biggest fan of Outback.
Me either.
I prefer Logan's if I was going to prefer the two steakhouses.
Oh, I've never been to a Logan.
They do have a Logan's Roadhouse.
Oh,
And
oh,
here, I
that's
know. And
intriguing.
so if I was going to go between Outback and Logan's, I would go to Logan's. Or Texas Roadhouse for
Now,
sure.
I was gonna say Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah, I would go to
I
Texas Roadhouse
love a good
before
Texas
all of
Roadhouse.
them.
Yep,
Hmm.
I get the roadkill every time.
I just want to eat the bread and the bread, the bread and the bread. I can eat that bread for. So, it's so not good for me to eat as many
No,
rolls
not
as
at
I
all. But
do,
it's so
but it's
delicious.
so good, and I want all of them. And I'm like, I tell our server every single time, just keep them coming. Just keep
Literally.
them coming. We go eat them all, and this is why I have this lovely girlish figure of
Oh
mine.
yes, of course. Um,
Mm.
but yes, yeah, I've gotten the same thing my entire life at Texas Roadhouse. Really,
We just got our first Texas Roadhouse here not too
good for
long ago. So
you.
we just started going out there. But it's still like 30 minutes away from me.
Oh,
Well, maybe, yeah, about 30 minutes away from 20. I'll say 20 minutes
I was
away
gonna say
from,
ours is like 15. I
yeah, I was
think
like
we have
20 minutes away from me. 30 minutes away from my sister from where she lives, but 20 minutes away from where I live. And it's kind of like very annoying to have to go all the way out there. And then it's always crowded. And we
Yep,
always have to wait for an hour and a half before we get seated. And it's like, so we don't go that often.
understood. I
Enough
don't
of
go
my story time.
at all anymore.
But I want to go now that we're talking about
I know. Now I'm like, shit, that's not fair.
it.
Anyway, they get to enjoy their Outback, which is not any of these other steakhouses we talked about.
No,
I will say, Bloomin' Onion.
I don't like a blooming onion. I'm not a fan of onion
Really?
rings. I'm not a fan of onions like that.
Oh,
So
that'll do it. I love an onion. So give me all the onions.
you can have them all. But the weird thing, I like onion flavored. I just don't like the actual onion.
Oh, interesting.
So you put onion powder in my like.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Okay.
love onion powder on stuff, but I don't
Interesting.
like onions. The actual onions on my like burgers and things.
Okay.
Weird. I know.
Anyway, um, yeah. So they're eating their food, and then as she sits down, Parvati finds a clue to the hidden immunity idol.
in her napkin, and she sticks it ever so gently into her underwear. It's like,
And then later into Danielle's boob.
yeah, she
Whatever.
wants Danielle to trust her, which is working because Danielle will do anything Poverty tells her to do. And so she is like, I shared this with the only person that I want to share it with, and I'm gonna make sure that she trusts me more than she trusts Russell.
Yep.
If something ever happens, it'll always pick me over Russell. And I'm like, smart girl,
Girl.
period.
Yep.
And then she was like, and I won't tell Russell. Even though he saved me with his idol, I'm not going to tell him because Russell's on a need to know basis right now. And right now he doesn't need to know. And I was like, very smart girl. You don't need to tell everybody about your idol. You tell the people you need to if there is people you need to tell. Now, if there's people you don't need to tell, you don't need to tell nobody.
Exactly.
But yeah,
Exactly.
Poverty was very smart in this moment.
And speaking of smart and quite frankly, the lack thereof, we go over to Heroes, and JT wants to give his idol to Russell.
I have never rolled my eyes so much in my entire life listening to JT because they were very convinced by now. Like they're very super convinced it's the girls alliance and that Russell is next and everybody knows for sure they need to make sure that they can get Russell. This again is a reason why I feel like not them able to watch Russell play is what gave Russell a huge advantage in this game and allowed him to be able to just go by, oh, he's the new guy. He doesn't really know, you know, what we don't know what his skill set is. I'm sure if they ever got to watch the season before they played with Russell, they would have been trying to get Russell out first.
Russell would have been
So long. But because he had that advantage of nobody watching him play, he was able to parlay this thing as far as he did and
yeah.
get people to trust him and say, I'm gonna who gives your idol to somebody on another tribe
That you
when
barely ever had a conversation with.
right? And then it's heroes versus villains. Not just any regular survivor of people you don't know, heroes versus villains.
Yeah.
Russell's on the villain tribe. You think they just accidentally put him there? No, he's there for a
Well, to be
reason.
fair, they did accidentally put Parv and Candace on the tribes that they did.
Poverty should have been on the villain tribe. There's
They were
no
supposed to be
other
opposite.
that no that wasn't a mistake. They knew exactly what they were doing. Candace, don't nobody remember her for real, for real, for real, for real. So she was right where she was supposed to be, and Poverty was right where she was supposed to be. Because just because you're a villain don't mean you bad. That just means you smarter than sometimes the average Joe. And everybody who's trying to be a hero and being so good all the time, they miss the bigger picture. And I feel like now I think the only person they truly put on the wrong tribe was James. Because James got some villain tendencies, but he's a good person. But
Yeah.
when he's competing, he's straight villain.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Period. But
Courtney
that's
was right. He was on the wrong tribe, maybe.
yeah, Courtney was right. Courtney was absolutely right because he is definitely a villain when it comes to competition. He turns into that villain, and it's like that's not a bad thing. But for JT to sit there and be like, "Oh, I'm gonna give him this idol, and I'm gonna write him this note, and I'm gonna tell him exactly what to do with this item. Vote out Poverty because she got to go and vote out Poverty. And we go have Russell in ours on our side for the rest of this game. We can pick out those girls one by one, and then we can let Russell go at 6. Hmm? You get an idol and you give it away to somebody not on your tribe who can use it against your tribe. And nobody thought this was a bad idea.
Rupert sure did.
Rupert didn't do it till later. You know who thought it was a bad idea at the beginning? Amanda.
Uh, and the
Amanda was
only reason he was able to do it was because Amanda's luxury items were a pen and paper.
right. So crazy.
Oh my god.
So
So
crazy.
they do all of that. He ends up actually writing it before the immunity check.
Competition. Mm-hmm.
In
Mm-hmm.
the interim, all we see on the day in between is Parvati and Danielle find the idol. Boom.
Right.
They have the idol. Love it. So we go to the challenge. It's this like rope puzzle, and you have to get things through.
Drag your puzzle
get-
pieces through the water, over the obstacles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Solve the
So-
puzzle.
Yeah, and so the last two people on the platforms are Colby and Russell. And Colby's like, "Are you going home tonight?" And he's like, "Yeah." And Colby goes, "Go to JT after the challenge, and JT's gonna give you something, Russell." And it's just like, because then, so the challenge is happening, and the heroes are fairly dominant.
Yeah, pretty much.
It was not a full shutout.
I mean, Jerry kind of started to trend. They just couldn't catch up after Jerry. She
Jerry
was first.
couldn't catch up. Courtney couldn't catch up.
Mm-mm.
And the heroes finished the puzzle very, very quickly.
They finished the puzzle before Russell even got to the platform.
Yeah. So heroes win, and JT passes over his idol to Russell.
This is what was funny for me, and this is the editing of this part of this show was so hilarious. So after we get back from the challenge, the heroes are like, "Yeah, we did it. We pulled it off. Russell got the idol, and now he's gonna be indebted to us forever. This is gonna be great. I pulled it off, and I wrote him that note. He got it. It's gonna be all good for us. We're taking these villains out one by one." Cut to the villains tribe. Poverty is sitting there laughing, reading this note with Russell.
Dramatic reading of this is literally just, "Russell, read this in complete privacy."
It was that took
I'm
me
giving
out.
this idol to you because I
get
know
it.
you're at the bottom, and I know merge is coming,
and
and I know that once we get to merge together, you can just join us, and we'll vote out all the women. And just like,
and it's so
and
funny.
he won a season.
Yeah, and you
He
won.
is a winner.
And he's like, "I think I made the best move in Survivor history." Quite the opposite, sir.
No, darling.
You quite possibly made the dumbest move in Survivor history.
No, Aaron Reichenbach still has the dumbest move of all time.
I mean, this one can't be that far from it. I'm sorry. This was stupid.
Giving your individual immunity idol at Final 5.
Yeah, that's still dumb. That's
It's
kind of
the
dumb. It's the dumbest.
It was immortalized on Ghost Island.
Mm.
So it's definitely one of the worst.
Yeah, probably one of the worst. Oof. Probably yeah, same as Marcellus and Big Brother 3. Yeah, I think these are like the dumbest reality moves.
Literally the same.
Literally the same thing.
So, we go back to Villains Camp, other than Parvati's dramatic reading, and pretty much Courtney and Sandra know it's one of the two of them.
Yeah.
And this really was kind of the vote that dictated the rest of the season, because, you know, had Sandra gone home here, Parvati wins.
Probably.
And Probably. Is the two-time winner.
Yep.
Or Russell wins.
Oh, Russell wins. One of them was winning.
Because then, if we just completely eliminate Sandra, the final 3 then would have been, spoiler, If you haven't watched this season, why are you watching this? Um, the final three then would be Parvati, Russell, and Jerry.
Yeah.
Maybe Jerry wins. Actually,
I mean, Sandra wouldn't want to vote for
Sandra would
Russell.
probably vote for Jerry.
Jerry. Coach would vote for Jerry.
Courtney
Courtney would probably vote for
No,
Jerry.
I feel like Courtney would have voted for Parv. I think she does vote for Parv, actually. Because they were very, very close, which is
Maybe.
why Parv in this
Yeah.
episode
Yeah. Maybe.
should keep Courtney. I think Jerry has Sandra, Colby,
Coach.
James.
James is not on the jury.
Oh no, revisionist history. Not James.
Not James. JT maybe because he'd be
JT and
Rupert.
Probably
Rupert
or Candace.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think Jerry comfortably wins. Actually,
yeah,
Jerry or Courtney, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's Courtney or Sandra. Courtney or Sandra.
Back and forth.
Yeah.
And then eventually it was Courtney.
They go to tribal. It's very uneventful.
That's so uneventful. That's what I said. That's what just went right to the end. Eventually it was Courtney
and Courtney goes.
It was so nothing that happened in the tribal. It was just like it is what it is. We know what we're doing. And
I do really like Courtney.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Courtney.
I like Courtney too. And she was like, who would have thought this skinny girl would have made it to jury? And I did. And now I get to be cute while they're in their dusty old rags.
Her exit speech is one of my favorites of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Her and Drea, I think. I think Drea has a pretty memorable exit speech on 42.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Something. Yeah. Episode 10. Mm-hmm. It's time to merge. Remember the good old days where merge was at 10?
Yeah.
39-day seasons, Lana.
Yeah.
Oh,
good times.
Oh, yeah. So basically, we wake up the next morning. It's merge.
Yep.
And then they merge.
Yep.
And the heroes warmly welcome Russell.
Warmly.
And
coldly welcomes Parvati.
No one wants Parvati there. And JT is gooped, gagged, and betrivelled that Parvati is still in the game. And he goes, well, Parvati must have played an idol.
Must have.
Okay. You stay in your delusion land, JT. I'm happy to see it.
Yeah, because there's no way Russell would have kept her after I gave him my idol. No way.
Oh, God. So then, so Parvati is like Danielle goes up to Parvati and is basically, she's like, yeah, I know no one wants me here. Not a single person wants me here. So thank God I have an idol.
Right. Yeah.
And then later gets two.
I mean, this is the thing. Even the way they treated Parvati was so, I was like, y'all so stupid. Like, y'all so dumb. Even if you don't want somebody there, you don't socially outcast them from everything. Because you never know what's going to happen in this game. And they find out really quickly what can happen in this game.
And not someone as adept at this game as Parvati Shallow. Like, you do not ostracize her of all people unless it's the first vote and you're about to unanimously vote her out of the game first for being a winner.
Right.
It's
so ridiculous. But then it turns into the whole adjusting period, and mostly it's Rupert, because Rupert's annoyed by everything. Rupert gets annoyed by any and everything because he can't perform the way he wants to perform, and so now everything bothers him apparently, and it's so annoying. But like, they're eating way more bananas than normal. Why do we have to eat these? Like, dude, dude. Well, we let the bananas ripen, and they're like, well, we don't want to. We just want to eat the plantain the way it is.
Fucking banana etiquette, man.
It's so I've never heard of such nonsense in my entire life with this banana etiquette. It's never been on until this season.
Who cares?
Who cares? Banana etiquette. Who cares? Just so annoying. But
anyway, yeah. So Rupert and JT are kind of like just getting in with Russell. Russell is lying up a storm, going with this women's alliance situation.
mm-hmm.
And then we see the flip side of that before immunity, and Sandra is getting in a quick conversation with Rupert because they were on the same season.
Mm-hmm.
They know each other. They didn't work inherently together, but
a familiar face is a familiar face at this point.
Yeah. And Sandra is like, everything Russell's saying is a lie. I'm at the bottom of my alliance. He's got Parvati and Danielle wrapped around his finger.
There is no girl alliance.
There is no girl alliance. And Rupert is just like, well, I don't know whether to believe Sandra. And I'm like,
I mean, see, this is the thing. I can see why Rupert maybe wouldn't believe Sandra because of the history that they do have. Sandra was somebody who, on his season, they didn't work together. He didn't trust her then, so why would he just automatically trust her now when they come to a season that they're still on different tribes and they come together to be on one tribe? Don't mean she's automatically believable. I get it, but I'm like, but why would she have to lie to you? Yeah. What would be the purpose in her lying to you about that? And snitching out the people on her own tribe. What would be the purpose of that? So it made
girl alliance, I guess.
Yeah, but then he comes around and realizes maybe Sandra's not lying to me, and Russell is playing us, and so he goes and reports and tells JT and Amanda, and Candace like maybe we shouldn't trust Russell, and JT's like, man, forget that. Russell's trustworthy. I trust him. He's a good old country boy. He's just like me. I can trust him. He on the bottom. That's just Sandra just spouting off those lies. You know, because you can't trust women.
No. Just anyway. No comment on that. And then Parvati and Amanda are having a conversation, and Parvati is very quick to acknowledge that Amanda's lying to her and not telling her the whole truth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's probably one of the few people you can tell whether they're lying or not is the person you went to Final 2 with on your original season, or not even your original season.
But Amanda has tails. Like, even I can tell she's lying because she always do that whole.
She was like, I don't know.
I don't know. She's smiling like she's lying. She's lying. My girl.
Anyway, we go to immunity, and we find out that the tribe name is Yin Yang.
Mm-hmm. Sandra named it.
It is one of the merged tribe names of all time. It sure is one of them.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it ain't the worst. I'll tell you that.
It's not Murica.
Murica.
Oh.
That's the worst name ever.
We'll take it. That's a video we should do. We should rank all 44
merged names.
I think that sounds really fun, actually.
Oh, man.
I think we have to.
Say the words. Say the words.
Great. So this is a Survivor Classic immunity challenge. Get a grip.
Mm-hmm.
and the poll.
Hold
Once
on. Hold on, baby.
again. And it's this is where I was a little confused and frustrated with Mr. Jeff Probst.
Okay.
Because so people are coming down very quickly, coming down. I do love that the first two people to come down off simultaneously were Colby and Sandra.
Mm-hmm. Kobe said, "Mm-mm, I know
Well,
better."
Jeff in this moment was like, Colby, I didn't expect you to come down first. And he goes, I know I'm not good at this challenge. I just did really, really bad in the challenge we just did. So I'm going to conserve my strength and
Period.
not wear myself out. And I'm like, yes, absolutely, Colby. Thank you. I was like, that's incredibly smart.
Mm-hmm.
It comes down to Danielle, Candace, and Parvati.
Mm-hmm.
And Candace won this challenge on her previous season. I believe JT also won this challenge on a previous season.
I think JT won the last one on his previous season, the
Yeah,
foothold ones.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeff in that moment was like, JT's off out of nowhere. And I'm like, okay, this is a different set of circumstances with different people he's competing against.
Right.
Like, but then what got me together was so Candace ends up dropping out
Mm-hmm.
for whatever reason. And Jeff is just like chastising her
Right.
for not winning the challenge, basically. And he's like, well, I just can't believe that you came down off the pole. I'm like,
He
maybe
stopped her mid descent and was like, "Wait a minute, Candace, why are you coming down?" And she's like,
I'm done.
"I'm done." And he's like, "But you won." And she's like, "Yeah, but not this time
Not this time. They can go
because
for a
they look
while.
like they can go for a while." And Poverty's
And
like, "Oh, we can."
yeah,
And
I love that moment.
I was like, "Absolutely." I was not mad at Candace because look, Jeff, different circumstances, different group of people, different strength
I'm
and will
competing
to
against different people. Like, why are you so surprised?
right. So it's like when the people who I competed against was ready to give up when I won and they gave up. This time, these group of people don't want to give up, and my body ain't gonna let me hold on much longer, Jeff. I'm older now, so guess what? My body
Literally,
isn't gonna hold out the same way it did when I first did this. Thank you. As I come down, like I would have went off on Jeff. I'm like, who you talking to?
right?
Don't talk to me like that, Jeff. Like you ain't. Don't do that because you're trying to make me feel bad because my body ain't holding up the same as it did the last time I did this challenge. How many years ago?
You know who else's body isn't keeping up, Jeff?
Yours.
Yours.
How about that? How about you get on the pole, Jeff? Why don't you hold this pole for an hour and 20 minutes? How about that?
Literally. So Candace comes down, and then immediately Danielle and Amanda start talking.
No, Danielle and Parvati. Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Danielle and Parvati start talking, and Parvati is like, "Do you want me to win this?" And Danielle goes, "No, you have the idol."
And
And
Parvati,
Parvati's just like,
I'm coming down.
"Okay." And so she comes down, and
Danielle
Danielle
wins.
wins.
Sure. Great.
Good for you, gal.
Good for you. I think Poverty could have held on way much longer than Danielle, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
I
mean,
feel
Poverty
like
was
she
hanging with one
does
foot.
on. I feel like she does on Heroes versus Villains.
Mm.
Didn't she do it again? I don't remember. Anyway, um, so we get back to camp. It's pretty much just like the heroes want to vote out a villain, and the villains want to vote out a hero, and it's kind of just a matter of
Who?
who do we vote out.
Yeah.
Russell goes and gets his immunity idol, which he then gives to Parvati, meaning that Parvati has two immunity
Immunity idol.
idols. And I love when she's like in confessional holding her idols. She's like, I have two little green men protecting me. And apparently everyone else in this game is desperate to get rid of me. They said I'm the most dangerous player out here, so I guess they're
Yes, I
right. I
am.
didn't think they
And
were right until now.
till now, I was like,
Like, girl,
You go, girl. We love a revelation moment. Like, you know what? Maybe I am the most dangerous player out here. And they all should be worried.
They should.
And they should.
So Amanda then tells Parvati basically like,
She use it.
yeah, use the idol. They're voting for you.
She's
And
she's she never said the words "they're voting for you," and that's what tipped Poverty off. She never said they're voting for you, which is stupid on Amanda's part because I'm like, who y'all think y'all playing with? Like, who did y'all think y'all were playing against when y'all came on this show? Like, just anybody? Who did you think you were playing against? And so they were kind of like, she's like, you should use it. And Poverty said, is it me? She was like, you should use it to be safe. Just in case. If we don't talk again, you should use it on yourself. On yourself. And in that moment, Poverty was like, they're not voting for me. I know they're not voting for me. Now I just have to figure out who they're voting for to keep them safe.
yeah. So, and then Amanda says in confessional, the plan is to have Parvati flush the idol,
Mm-hmm.
or to flush Parvati's idol and vote out Sandra or Jerry.
Right. And then they wanted Russell to vote out Poverty. Mm-hmm. But they won't vote for Poverty.
Yeah. So
So
we
stupid.
go right to tribal,
Mm-hmm.
and Russell is like, well, if a hero goes home, the villains will make top 5, and if a villain goes home, the heroes will make top 5.
Right. It was
And
crazy because you wanna know what's so funny about this whole situation to me? It didn't start off like that. Wait, no. They were just Sandra was like, it's wait, is this where the banana came up?
this is where the bananas came
This
up.
is where the bananas came up again, and everybody was like, banana etiquette and blah blah blah. And Russell say, you know what? I'm sick of this. What are we talking about bananas for? We got a game to play. I don't care about no bananas. You eat whatever you want. I don't care. We are here to play a game. Let's play the game. I was like, exactly, Russell. Why are we wasting our time and energy in tribal council talking about how many bananas people eat and why don't we wait to ripen the banana? Like, who cares? Let's play the game.
Literally.
And I was like, the one time you go hear me agree with Russell Hance. Cut
Literally,
this
I'm like, the one time I
nonsense.
agree with Russell.
Like, cut the nonsense and let's talk about the game. Let's play this game. Matter of fact, let's just vote.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
So they vote. Jeff
Mm-hmm.
brings back the urn. If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and you want to play it, now's the time to do so. Parv stands up, or she perks up. She's like, well, Jeff, I'd like to see all of my villains make it through the day. So, Sandra, here you go. And then also, Jerry, this is for you. I love this moment.
It was such a good. And Sandra and Jerry were both like, what? And Russell was like,
Truly, genuinely, everyone is shocked except for Danielle and Parvati.
right.
The heroes are just like, Rupert literally whispers to Amanda, I knew we should have voted out that bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And like the heroes are shocked. Amanda's just like, Sandra and Jerry are thrilled. Russell is like, 2 idols? Okay. And the votes come down.
5 votes
Jerry does
does
not
not
count.
count.
Jerry does not
Does
count.
not count.
Jerry does not
Does not
count.
count.
Jerry does not count. Jerry does not count.
JT.
And JT goes home. Yay!
Because you're a moron and you
I
deserved it.
real.
You
You voted
deserved it.
yourself out of the game.
you
Basically.
you gave up your idol and got your idol used against you. You idiot. I could not believe. I was just sitting there like, I'm so shocked. That I am so shocked. But I wasn't mad at it at all, honestly. They can all go home. Every last hero can go home, which eventually will happen, but it just
What?
all of them can go because all of them are morons for letting these plans, just letting JT run stuff, and he. Okay, yeah,
Well, that's that.
that is that.
We have two more episodes of our coverage of Heroes versus Villains. And then I don't know what we're doing because we need to figure out when Survivor 45 is coming.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's sometime in September, so we might be able to squeeze in another season or some one-off videos in the interim.
Maybe.
So if we do end up doing another season, I think what we're going to do is we're going to pick. We talked about it, I think, off camera but we're going to, I think, pick one of our favorite seasons and a season we don't remember, and we're going to put it all on a wheel and let that decide what we're going
I
to.
feel like we should just put as many seasons as we want on there on the wheel,
That
and
works too.
we could just put all the seasons, and we just spin the wheel,
All right.
and where it lands. If it's a season we watch it again. If it's a season we don't like, we can watch it and see why we didn't like it. If it was a
Right.
season we loved, we can just enjoy the basket of
Yeah.
rewatching that again. So I feel
I
like
think that sounds great.
all at random.
Great. So
Cool. We'll do that at the end of this. See,
yeah,
we'll
we'll do it
do
at the end of the finale.
yeah. Once we do the finale, we'll do a wheel so you all will know what our next
Yep.
season we're going to jump into.
I'll have to like spin the wheel for like 30 seconds or something.
Yep, that's fine.
Probably pre-record that video because that might be easier. Because you know it lags on here.
Everything lags on here.
You're not. Well, with that being said, thank you for joining us for Survivor Heroes versus Villains recap. We'll be back next week with our penultimate episode talking about episodes 11 and 12. Make sure to hit all the buttons on your preferred viewing or audio platform that say you support us because we appreciate it. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at the Cup Pod for all of the most up-to-date Cup news and all our funny moments because we're pretty funny bitches. Make sure to follow Lana and I on Twitter because we're cool. I do things sometimes, and
Yeah, I say some stuff.
as Big Brother season comes back, I think Lana and I will be doing some periodic and sporadic live tweeting of live feeds. So if you are a Big Brother fan, we will be covering BB25. We're very excited about it. So make sure to, subscribe here because that's going to be right here on the Cup TV. Get your merch, link in the description below. Yeah. Did I forget anything, Lana?
Nope, I think you got it all.
Work. Well, in that case, cheers.
Cheers.
Ooh.
Audio.